Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we have made final progress on one of the radios I've been working on. We've had a bit of a setback on the dial for the 112 and I've actually serviced the tape recorder in a basic way. I haven't changed the capacitors. I'll have to order those, but it's well on its way to being back to its original self. Although it seems to work quite well, given the condition it's in and the age of it too. It's 1964 to 68, according to Radio Museum and a couple of other sites, but who knows who copies off of who. Oh, before we do, I should be back to normal next week, I think. This place is a bit of a tip at the moment, or a hard rubbish, or whatever you like to call it, because everything, or most things, have come through here, being sorted, and I've thrown out a heap of paperwork, which I no longer need. We have to keep records for 7 years when we were teaching, so it's 8 years now. So I'll get rid of that and a whole bunch of other things, or I have got rid of that and a whole bunch of other things. So here we go. We're opening up Illustrator here. Because I can actually get really crisp fonts with that and lines, because it's not a raster based program. And now we're opening, what was it? The Epson scan thing, yeah. Okay, so then we change this to black and white. Do a preview scan with it. There's lots of lag with this because I was running lots of software, and the program itself for the scanner, and the scanner itself, I should say, are very, very slow. Very old. Well, they're not very old. It's a current scanner, but the interface is only USB 2, and it doesn't have very much memory in it. I've had the scanner for around about 15 years. So we'll change the resolution up to 48. Not 48, 2400 I should say. Then we'll scan, and it goes through all these warnings. And it starts scanning. So it took about 5 minutes to scan in reality. So you can see, yeah, and I've chopped out the middle bit, so it's now at the end. Then it automatically saves it to the pictures directory, which is very annoying. Then I have to select the Illustrator to open it up, and here it is. It is beyond doing anything with, I think. As you can see, the numbers have just gone too far. Although it looked fairly okay in reality, but the scan, yep. Okay, so we'll think about something else here, and I'll get back to you. Just having a break from setting up my new setup, and I've been working on this radio for many weeks now. It's throwing me completely. It's a Kriesler 1181. And normally I have no trouble with these. The owner wanted it fixed, because it was her parents, and she remembered and in the kitchen, etc. I've replaced just about every single component on it, or swapped them around or what have you, and it's still distorted. So it is real mystery, this one, and I can't work it out. So yeah, I'm just having a bit of a break and thinking about it. So yeah. So yeah, the Bluetooth's working beautifully, thanks Manuel. This is the 4th installation, but this was the first one I've actually connected up and made up. So yeah, but I just can't work out this distortion. It's really weird. Here we go with the new setup. I don't know how this is going to come apart, if indeed it will, easily. So I'm going to attempt to do it, but I am going to actually block the camera quite a bit. So we'll see how we go. I've tried to put the camera in a position where I don't block it. Now it's come quite dusty, but as we saw, it does actually work. So let's have a gander at it. So I don't know what was there. There's a circle and there's another circle there. So we'll see if we can take this part off first. Though they seem to be attached to the front panel, the VU meters, so it's a bit of an odd design. Okay. So I'm going to try and get these record levers off. Okay. So that's one of them. Just give this a little bit of a ooh, okay. Oh no, it's fine. Okay. Thought I was actually pulling the whole control out. It still has all its little plastic washers and everything on it. I have searched for a schematic for this, but alas, there doesn't seem to be one. Ah, here we go. Whoa. this little connector up here. Okay, so black goes to the control side and white goes to the record side, just for my own reference. So they look interesting. So this is the control panel. I don't know whether you can see those rings there which overlap the control. Very odd. I might be able to clean those off. There's quite a bit of scratching down here and a bit of rust. So this was made around about 1964 to 68. Wow. The circuit board is actually handwritten, the values on it, or the references. And there's no way of getting to the controls from this side. So I'm going to have to get, is it actually a plug? Wow. These are actually plugs here, and they plug into the left and right, I think, or the mono stereo switch. And over this side, I don't know what they do. So I'll bring this up a little bit for you. You can see that. So these are plugs with all the wiring on them. It probably goes to the heads, or maybe that one does. Something there which I really don't know what it is. Some sort of coil maybe. It's all potted up. There's the output transistors right down there. They're most likely germanium. And there's plenty of circuitry under here. So these purple caps go bad. So I'm going to have to trace all these, work out their values, and then order them in. I will have a couple of them, but I won't have all of them. It's actually not too bad, condition-wise. What I'll do is I'll take the back off of it and see if we can get to the volume and tone controls. So they are what's causing the problems at the moment. Hoping this will come off, or it might just come out as with the Sony ones. That's truly had it. Wonder if it was no, it wouldn't have been this shape. It would have been a flat one. Yeah, it's squashed. Quite long screws. So I guess we'll have to have the cord in such a position that it goes through. So anything like the Sony, it'll have the handle screwed to it. Well, that just seems to be spinning. So maybe not. There are 6 screws on each side. So those side panels come off. That did a lot of not good. Yeah, dear. Although, yes, these are just trim panels by the looks of it. Lots of dust. Very strange setup. See if this moves. Definitely got something holding it at the top. So maybe these screws. Not long enough. Of course, this will never go back together again. It's one of those things. There we have it. So this moves across and engages with the motor. Oil down in there. So can't quite see. The handle is, okay. Sneaky. Yep, okay. So this is going to fall. There it goes. Okay. So we can lift this out of the case now. Or can we? Still something holding it. It's free, but something... The speakers are attached to this, so they'll probably have to be undone. But how? Uh-huh. Wonder if they were holding it in. Uh-huh. Yep. And okay. So I've got green and brown on this speaker. So green at the back, brown at the front. And this one is black and white with black at the rear and white at the front. Now we should be able to put this down here. It's got a very big flywheel on it. You can see there. It's rather well constructed actually. This is the motor run cap, so 2 microfarads, quite a large one. Sony uses the round cans like in radios, with 2 taps on them for 50 and 60 hertz. There's a couple of very large output transformers down here, which you won't be able to see. I'll show you those in a minute. I've no idea what they are. So that seems to be the power smoothing capacitor, quite a large one. The pots are down here and up in there. It's got a really nice power cord connection. There's the fuse. Seems to be 2 fuse positions, maybe, I don't know. There's the power selector switch, the voltage selector switch. These, I don't know what they are. Never seen these before. There's 2 big output transformers there, and the power transformer down there, and maybe you can see the pots there. Of course all the grease has dried out on it. It's still making the rather annoying ticking noise, which I can't quite work out what it is. I've played this tape about more than halfway through and it's not still doing it. It's the motor rattling against something, or the belt or something like that. There's only two components it could be. That's the motor drive and the flywheel, and it sounds like it's coming from the motor end of it. So I'll have to give that a really good clean. Right, it's back together again, and it's been cleaned up somewhat and lubricated in the appropriate places. So until the capacitors and the other bits and pieces arrive, I've also looked for belts for it, but they don't seem to be available, or people have said they're not the right shape or size or whatever. These are working adequately, and the main drive belt is, well, it's on its last legs, let's say that. It's working fine, but it's really cracked. So let's try a little bit of Bing Crosby just to finish it off. It's still making funny noises. I'm not really sure what that ticking noise is on idle, but as soon as you put the bit of pressure on the pinch roller, it stops. So it must be something to do with a dirty bearing or something like that. So it needs quite a bit of work on it, which isn't surprising given it's 55, 60 years old. So yeah, okay, let's get the Bing Crosby on the road. I suspect that I bought this when the Akai 1700 that I've got, that started to play up something chronic, and it turned out to be the main switch. Everything runs off a single wafer switch on them, and the switch had gone kaput. So I didn't think it was worth pursuing another switch at the time, and I just bought this as an interim thing. Geez, this tape is really bright orange on the back. We have one little thing to do now on this Mullard 69 or the Philips 3052, whatever you like to call it. And that's to put these felts on the knobs or behind the knobs. Not that, oh yeah, they do actually rub. So that'll be a bit of a bonus. So we'll just do this one and I'll pause it. So this wafer switch may have been replaced because it's sort of been hacksawed off and it's a bit rusty and it's round, whereas all the others have a flat lip on them. So So that should just go on there like so. And that gets put on here. And yeah. So it's all working beautifully. It's already dusty. But it's come up absolutely beautifully, given what it was when I received it or bought it. There's just that little bit of scraping along the front edge there where the label was, and it pulled off the top layer of the Bakelite. I still have to tidy up the paint a little bit on here, but I'll do all that just before I take it up to Ballarat. Okay, so I'll pause here and do the other 3 felts, and we'll be back. Just a quick note, these felts are really quite nice because they've been sealed around the edges. Probably can't see that on the camera, but yeah, I'm not sure whether they've used something very hot to cut through them. Is that centre? Yeah, I'd say they've used something very hot, but it's worked out well because they do fray on the edges. So I bought these from Carl in Canberra, and there's a link in the description of his Facebook or his eBay site. Okay, so there's just one little thing to do with this radio, and that's to put the back on it. It's not the original back, unfortunately. It's just a plywood one, and I'm debating what to do with that. So this is the back that's been made for it, and it looks way too thick. It's quite heavy. I'm not sure what, I suppose the ventilation is okay, but now a trick is with screws into Bakelite or plastic, no metal thread on them, is to turn it backwards a little bit until it clicks and then turn it. Otherwise you start a new thread, and that's no good because eventually you'll make the hole so big that a screw won't screw into it anymore. What a palaver. But it's all back together again, ready to go. Okay,